Cave Johnson here for Aperture Science. Don't worry about the fellow who was on the microphone before. They've been exiled to the Terra 3 Penal Science Colony. I don't know what they did, but I'm told they do, and that's good enough for me. Anyways, what am I announcing here? Something about a charity marathon? Doesn't sound right. Pretty sure I made our yearly charitable contribution to the Aperture Science Initiative for Charity Research back in January. Right, yeah, that's the boys in R&D who are trying to figure out why charities exist. Anyways, I'm told there's more testing to do, and we've got one of the very best test subjects available. Shizzal, you're up. Yep, speedrun. Now, go do the thing. I'm Cave Johnson, and you're not.
Okay, hello guys, I'm Shizzal, and this is Portal 2. I'll be doing a full game run of this, all 9 chapters. With me today on commentary, I have the second best Portal 2 speedrunner, Madden.
Hey, I'm Madden. I run this game as well. I'm going to be helping Shiz sort of explain what's going on.
Alright, so without further ado, let's do this. So 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so to start the game, we have like a 5-minute long cutscene, so we have a lot of time to just explain some stuff. Basically, as Zuch was saying in this Portal 1 run, if you didn't see it, we'll go over some of the same stuff, but this is a source game, so naturally, body hopping is the main form of movements. I actually do have to listen in a little bit, because I have to like look up and down at the floor and stuff like that.
Look down at the floor.
The announcer's great in this game, by the way. It has some really funny dialogue lines.
This completes the gymnastic
Speaking of dialogue, dialogue is basically what makes the world go around in this game. In Portal 1, your main goal is basically, 99 times out of 100, your main goal is to activate the elevator as soon as possible. That is not the case in Portal 2. Essentially, how it works is, the game really wants you to listen to the dialogue, so the level won't transition until the dialogue is finished. The way that works is, in an elevator shaft, there are multiple checks to see if the dialogue is finished, and you want to enter the elevator at just the right time, so that as a check is happening, you hit that trigger, and then the level transitions. So, to figure that out of the way, if I'm like waiting at an elevator, and you're wondering like, oh, why is he wasting time just standing at the elevator? That's why. So yeah, that's out of the way. Wheatley's gonna talk to us for like the next 2 minutes or so. So yeah, Madden, I mean, if you have anything else you think I missed.
One thing about Portal 2 is that once you get the portal done, you'll notice that your shots are instant. They don't have like travel time throughout the air like they do in Portal 1. So this makes things like re-portals much easier. You saw one in the inbounds run glitchless that Zuch did, where essentially the game doesn't want you to stand in a wall and shoot portals anywhere, finishing the level instantly. So if you stand in a portal and you shoot the portal that basically you're standing in, you'll get a slight speed boost. It'll kick you out.
But don't be alarmed.
We can abuse this in several spots throughout the run, and we can even stack the speed by getting stuck in certain ways. You'll all see it later on.
What I'm saying?
Yeah. So in chapter 1, there's a lot going on, and there's some stuff we're probably gonna miss.
You just jump.
But like Madden said, portal standing and reportals are pretty fundamental to a lot of the skips in this game. So you'll be seeing that a lot.
Core safeguards are now non-functional.
Alright, so we're getting into like the last part of this cutscene here. We're gonna get like a nice scenic view of like, what do you even call this? Like the void? Like what do you I don't know, dude. Yeah, we have a very good driver to lead us to the facility right now.
Hold on, this is a bit tricky.
Just a minor scroll.
And of course, nobody tells me anything.
Yeah, there's a buff out.
Tell me anything.
Yeah.
Why can I be kept informed? About the life functions of the 10,000 bloody test subjects I'm supposed to be in charge of.
Chapter 1 will be a little hectic in explaining things because it has a lot of tricks where chapter 1 is the only place you'll see it in.
I just can't concentrate. And whose
just
fault
a
do you think it's
warning.
going to
If there's
be
a lot
when the
of talking, it
management
can
comes
be
down here
overwhelming,
and
but
fucking 10,000
we'll come back to explain things again
No, I hit that one. I hit that one.
if we just skim over some things really quick.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Don't
like.
worry.
Okay, listen, we should
Yeah,
get
don't
our
worry, we'll try and get
story
to
straight, right?
everything.
If anyone asks,
It turns out when you try and like
no one's gonna
explain
ask,
everything
don't
that's
worry.
happening in the
If
run,
anyone
you
asks,
realize
tell them
there's
as
like
far as
so
you
many
know,
things we
the
do
last
that
time
we like
checked,
take for granted. But
everyone looked pretty much alive.
in general,
Alright? Not dead.
most of the things we do
Okay,
will return.
almost there.
There are some chambers
On the
though
other
where you
side
kind of
that
have like this
wall
niche
is one
trick
of the old
that's used
testing tracks.
that happens to be
There's a
really
piece of
cool and
equipment
just
in there
is
that
the
we're gonna
fastest
need
route
to
for
get
the
out of here.
chamber. So,
I think
and
this
actually
is a
we're
docking
finally
station.
almost done with this
Get ready?
cutscene now. And we'll get to see our best friends, the Portal 1 Vault, because it actually turns
Good
out
news,
that the
that is
first
not
few
the docking
chambers of this
station.
game
So there's one
are
mystery solved.
basically
I'm going to attempt
exact
a manual
replicas
override
of the
on
chambers
this
in
wall.
Portal 1.
Could get a bit technical.
Basically
Hold
to
on.
just introduce you to how the Portal gun works if you haven't
Almost
played
there.
the first game.
Remember,
Yeah, just a bit of time has passed as well.
not bullet
Since the
holes.
first game.
But don't worry, you'll
Yeah,
figure
a
it
little
out.
bit of time.
Seriously, hold on this time.
Just a little bit of time.
Here we go.
Good luck.
Okay.
Here's another minute.
Yeah. Oh, it's more like maybe 30 seconds of waiting. Another thing to note too, when you're actually doing like speedruns of this game, you start at like where this dialogue ends. So when this portal opens, you start like 3 seconds before that happens. So you don't have to wait like 5 minutes before you start runs. It didn't used to be that way until a few years ago.
or structural collapse.
Yeah, we just add like an offset to the timer of 5 minutes, 16 seconds to make up for that time.
All right, here's
Here
a
we
bunny
go.
hopping we were talking about earlier. A big thing about the movement in this game is that if you go too fast in one direction, hang on, dialogue, there's a dialogue skip there that I want to hit that saves like 6 seconds. That's another thing in chapter 1 that's important. We want to interrupt the dialogue at certain parts to skip to a faster line.
Lie on your back.
Yeah, basically, if you ever see Shiz stopping for no reason and then starting to move again, like 8 times out of 10 it's because of dialogue.
Ear tubes inside your head.
There's a neat little skip where we just throw the cube over the glass and can skip like half the chamber.
Difficulties we are currently experiencing.
That saves
Your
like
test environment is
2 or 3 seconds if done well, which
Yeah,
is really
just
nice.
at the conclusion of testing.
I just realized I forgot what I was talking about earlier. The movement in this game, right? If you're moving too fast in one direction, your air strafing is like locked. You're kind of just stuck in that direction until you have your speed fall below a certain value.
Yeah,
So
if you go,
yeah, go ahead.
I'll let you focus.
Oh yeah,
If you go
sure.
over 300 velocity in this game, your ability to turn in the air is essentially gone.
See the portal, guys?
So you'll see a lot of slowdowns on purpose and crouching. I'll be quiet here.
Should have asked that first.
Ooh.
Just to go. Okay, that right there, that little pause. There's a dialogue skip right there, and that saves the one that Shiz just got saves 6 seconds, and that's the faster version and way harder variation of that strat. So
Actually, rarely you can hit that in runs, so that's awesome that I got it here.
To help
Let's
you
go,
remain
dude.
tranquil in the face of almost certain death.
All right, this is smooth jazz.
one thing about this game is that if you activate a door for
You have trapped yourself.
even the smallest amount of
Congratulations.
time possible,
The exit
if you're
door is now
holding
open.
W or any direction against that door, it'll stay open because the game doesn't want to crush you. You'll actually see this in co-op. If you hold against the door and your partner closes it, then you just die, you explode. But it's a single player, so it doesn't want to do that to
Being
you.
bombarded with
Yeah.
fireballs, meteorites, or other objects from space. Please avoid unsheltered testing
Just
areas
the one.
wherever a lack of shelter from space
There's a
debris
portal
does
stand
not appear
that
to
we
be
were talking about earlier.
Well done. The
Yeah,
Enrichment Center
so
reminds
that's
you that
also
although
important in the next
circumstances may
chamber.
appear bleak,
It's just
you are
generally
not
useful to
alone.
get around the
All Aperture Science
places
personality constructs will remain
faster than
functional
you're
in
really
apocalyptic
intended to.
low-power environments.
So,
This view has one
skips
point
like
wide vaults.
big flings, so it cuts down on airtime, stuff like that.
Just so I'm clear, is William over there in the corner an intended part of the round?
Well, unfortunately, Squilliam is not like a normal part of the game. But
That's a shame.
It's a plus
As
5
far as-
movement buff.
exactly, and not everybody has access to it.
Gives you moral support. That right
Hidden
there,
Easter egg.
that Shiz just did, was a button stick. If you go over that button
If you are
for
simple-minded,
one tick,
or
basically
irradiated
one
in such a
frame,
way that the future should
the
not
button will
start
stay
with you.
activated.
Please return to your primitive tribe.
We have a base.
and send back
It does
someone
not
better
work on every
qualified
button in the
testing.
game, so just a warning.
To ensure that
Okay,
sufficient
this
power
map
remains for core
has a
testing
lot,
protocols,
so I'll just
all
focus
safety
on one
devices
part,
have been
and then
disabled. The
other
Enrichment Center
parts
respects
of the
your right
level
to have
that need
questions or
explaining will come
concerns
back
about
later.
this
So
policy.
Hey!
this
Oi, oi!
map
I'm up here!
has essentially a wrong warp where okay, it's hard to explain, but you'll see. He's gonna line up here and build a bunch of speed to preserve into the next map. Normally you're not supposed to have your portal gun here, but we did a trick that helps us maintain our portal gun. And so you're gonna notice, hopefully, if he gets this speed. Here we go. We'll carry it over. Notice where we spawn. We're way out in the middle of nowhere, but it's technically still inbound because just the level is massive. So we build up a bunch of speed in secret panel. That was the level he was just on, and use that to carry momentum into wake up, which is this level. And doing the skips, having to bunny hop through long corridors and waiting for a long door to open, and it just takes a long time.
Yeah, that's also, just a note, that's like one of like the 3 hardest tricks in the run. That's,
Yeah.
like if you're doing normal runs, it's a pretty big run killer. If you did that in a run a year ago, it was unthinkable. It was barely even thought to be viable RTA. But then I think around like December of last year, I want to say, like people started doing it, and now like, it's a pretty significant time save for Portal 2, like 10 seconds. So like, all of the top 10 pretty much does the trick.
It's moving up.
Yeah, a lot of people thought this was test
Don't worry,
only,
I've got
but
it.
it
Slow it down.
only took a few people to look into it further, and now it's viable. Here's another strat where
Okay, don't panic.
we pause abuse and use the momentum of that elevator to help us jump over an invisible wall that keeps us in to watch a cutscene.
Not a problem.
Normally, Wheatley flips all the levers going up on the elevator, and we see GLaDOS wake up, hence the map name. But because we're outside this restricted area, we can mess around. And what Shiz is doing is he's setting up the clipboard in such a way so that once GLaDOS picks us up, brings us over the incinerator, opens the door,
It's you.
our model,
It's been a
our
long
character will be
time.
stopped by the clipboard,
Where have you been?
and so that way we'll fall through the incinerator hole early,
You know.
and which means we'll never leave the cutscene state. And because of this, we get a really cool side effect where, because we're always like, the game sees that we're in a
We
cutscene,
both said a lot
we're
of
now
things that you
invincible
wanted
for the
to regret.
rest of the run. We can never take damage or die.
Can't do that one in Portal 1.
Kind of an insane side effect. So this clipboard can be weird. So hopefully it works. It'll be really scary if it doesn't.
Moment of truth here.
Yeah.
Really love to tell.
Hey,
Got it. Yeah, you see
let's
Shell
go.
falling
Alrighty.
down.
Now that's
Oh,
like
so
the
it's-
end of like the mayhem that is like back-to-back tricks. So we should be able to chill a little bit more with like the technical stuff. But yeah, this game's broken, and invincibility, believe it or not, is like not even the craziest part of what we could do in Portal 2.
Yeah, there's some
More on that a lot later.
there's some crazy stuff coming up.
Yeah, I was about to pop in and say,
Yeah.
like, please do not be shy with technical explanations. I know how dense these games are, and people love to hear about it. So,
All right.
Once good, you had the
There's another dialogue skip here that I did get. You have to be very fast to
He's
shoot.
goated.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean,
So there's
dialogue is actually very important in Incinerator because if you get the bad dialogue, you actually lose like, what is it, man, like 20 seconds over like,
Yeah, it's ridiculous in this map. You also notice at the start of that level that he's sort of like crouched around a corner. He was actually going around. Oh, he was actually going around a trigger that
not bad.
starts GLaDOS from talking, and it takes a really long time for the portal gun to be accessible.
We have a lot of tests to do.
Chapter 2 introduces lasers, but for the most part, they're kind of just useless. Like, they're there, but we don't really use them.
This next test involves discouragement redirection.
Yeah, here there's a bit of an oversight in this level. You can just portal on that wall up there and just portal up to the end of the level. And it's really easy to just bring the cube with you up there.
Says. A horrible person. We weren't even testing for that.
You can see him waiting for dialogue in all these
Don't
levels.
let that horrible person thing discourage you.
Okay, this map, dual lasers.
If it makes you feel
If you remember earlier when I explained that if you're holding against the door, we're gonna activate the door for just a tiny bit of time and just press against it.
I want to congratulate you on beating the odds. And
Normally you need 2 lasers to activate that, but we do something called laser switch glitch, which when you switch a portal from activating one receptacle to another, there's a really brief window they're both activate at the same time, and we abuse that to get through that door quickly.
So feel free to
Here's a cool map with the re-portal tech.
Whatever it is you do when you're not destroying this facility.
Yeah, a cube throw combined with the re-portal.
This facility.
It's pretty tricky, but you can clear this gap.
Ooh, it's not
You have
portal
enough
bad?
speed. Oh, no, it looked fine to me.
There we go.
There we go. Let's go.
That's a bit of a toughie.
But for the
Yeah.
record, you don't have to go that slow.
Every now and then, there'll be a map where you don't have to listen to the dialogue all the way. So you'll just see Shiz trying to jump into the elevator as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's an important point too. It's not always the case you have to wait, but
This next test
I think even in the next map too, there's another kind of extreme case where it's important to enter the dialogue.
Yeah.
It's too
That's
expensive.
possible.
We'll talk about that later. Here, we put a camera on the button, if you notice, at the start of that level. That activates the dialogue much earlier. That way, by the time we complete the level, the dialogue will have gone far enough to where you don't have to wait for it to finish.
Yeah, GLaDOS is a mega yapper, and like the previous chamber and this one. So
Well, have fun soaring through the air without a care in the world. I have to go to the wind.
Yeah, this
that was made
map,
entirely of glass. Pick up 15 acres
normally,
of broken glass.
You go on
By
these,
myself.
you own these faith plates, and you see those two ramps that you have to portal off of, but we just skip them by portaling near the ledge and strafing around the corner.
The test chambers.
Yep.
So sometimes there's still
And
trash
I mean that's about it for this chamber besides the end. So
Yeah.
remember how I said GLaDOS is like a huge yapper in this chamber? Well, basically, remember how I said there's a bunch of dialogue checks in elevators? Well, there's also a failsafe at the very bottom. For let's say something goes wrong and like the dialogue gets cut off. In order to prevent the player from just being stuck, let's say you're waiting for a really long time, the level will just like cut out. Like you're about to see it now, just boom. Like it did it before GLaDOS stopped talking.
Yeah, it's just fast.
Dialogue is so long there that it's
Wait.
actually faster to go all the way to the bottom and hit the failsafe.
Okay, here's something that looks crazy.
Just an interesting
So if you remember re-portals,
every test chamber is equipped
where if you
with an
stand in a portal and you shoot
emancipation
the
drill
one you're in,
so
you
that
get a
test
little speed
subjects
boost.
cannot smuggle
In this
test objects
map,
out of
well,
the
you can
test
technically do this
area.
anywhere
This one
with
is
a wall
broken. Don't
portal,
take
if it's on the
anything with
ground.
you.
But if you shoot the portal in a way, you can get stuck for a very brief moment of time, and in that time we can keep shooting portals over and over again to build a lot of speed, and that helps us clear
This
like
next
really
test
tall
involves an
objects and stuff.
activation grills. Remember, I told you
Yeah,
about them
so
in the
This
I mean,
round-
that's a pretty funny solution. You just shoot under. For some reason, you could like shoot beneath that ground. Like, the
That
panels come
route
out.
was found like surprisingly late
Bro, only a
in
few
the
years
game's
ago.
lifespan.
But now we have like the
shoot under
hardest
the
trick in the run. So I'm gonna lock in.
Yeah, this is probably the hardest map, I would say. So normally you have to bounce on this faith plate 3 times. GLaDOS makes fun of you, all that, you know. Eventually she'll have to lower the ceiling so that way you can
You broke it, didn't
will
you?
progress with the level. But here, if you go on the faith plate and strafe in such a way to land near the observatory room, you can actually set up for a really hard jump. It's like pretty messed up how hard it is.
Sailing through
Somehow I got it first try. That was really good.
Piloting a balloon.
But yeah, there's a really hard jump, and there's a little like little block that you can stand on near the end of that observatory room that just happens to be there. Like, what even? Everything just works out. So by using that block, you can jump to the end, solve the level as fast as you can, and progress.
But as speedrunners, if it's valid terrain, it was meant for us.
Absolutely.
It's almost like they knew, you know.
They knew.
Did they know?
For all we know, that's the intentional route.
I didn't see the game today.
Yeah, the playtesters at Valve definitely did it that way.
But with you here, I've got my test subjects and all.
Yeah, right. With the mode where you're running these levels for fastest time, that's definitely counted in the dev speedrun time, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Like it's like the Mario Kart ghosts. Like they just know.
These bridges are made from natural light that I pump in from the surface.
Here's bridge intro. We have to press that button as soon as
standing
possible
outside
to start a cube from
sun
falling.
shining on your face. It would
Or to
also
start
set
a
your
cube
hair
to
on
fall.
fire, so don't
And here,
actually do it.
I didn't cover it earlier because
You're a
chapter
predator,
1,
and these
but
tests are your
if
predators.
you have
Speaking of which,
like a
I
cube or a
researched
prop or
sharks for an
something like
upcoming
that,
test. Do you know
and you put a
how
portal next to a really
people who
thin
are
wall,
only
you can
trying to
shove
help
the
them?
cube or prop
Did
through
you
that
guess
wall
sharks?
because it thinks it's
Because
going
that's
through
wrong.
the portal.
The correct answer is nobody.
It's just that the portal
Nobody
bubble
but
is
you
like
is that pointlessly
a bit
foolish.
big, so
Yeah.
we can save a few seconds there by
I
getting the
figured
cube
out
through
what
the
to do with all the
glass.
money I saved
It's kind of like in
recycling your
Portal
one
1, where
room full of
portal
air.
bubbles have
When you're
very
done, I'm going to laminate
strange
your
side effects.
skeleton
Not
and
nearly
put
as
you in the
broken in
lobby.
Portal 2,
That
but
way
they are
future
there.
generations can learn from you how not
Those
to
sequence
have
of
your
hops just
unfortunate
just
bones
saved
dropped. Well
like
done. In fact,
what, a
you did
minute?
so well.
Yeah, actually,
to a minute. That skips a whole cutscene because the door is supposed to malfunction and close on you, and then Wheatley talks to you for a long time, and then eventually the doors open,
Perfect.
and you can solve the puzzle normally.
This
Yep,
next
so
test
that's a
involves
very major
turrets.
skip that I kind of take
Yeah.
for granted. But now we're in
For
third
fast
intro,
intro.
Things that are full of
and
bullets.
the invincibility that we got earlier actually doesn't really help in this map. Like, no, this is like the normal route. Like it used to be just a normal route, and you're just so fast that the turrets can barely shoot you. But I do take no damage from turrets. That's just an important thing to know.
Yeah, it's really good if, for whatever reason, your cube falls off the button. You know you're not gonna die, so
To maintain
Yep.
a
That's just
constant
another
testing cycle,
safe
I simulate
space.
daylight at all hours and add adrenal vapor to your oxygen supply.
Here,
So you
she's
may
gonna
be
try to get
confused
this
about the passage of time.
camera.
The point
and
is, yesterday was your birthday.
You can.
I thought you'd want
Oh,
to
I didn't get it here,
Didn't
but
get it.
with that camera,
Whoa.
you can.
You know how I'm going to live forever.
I forget the
and you're going
extreme
to be
technical
dead in
stuff of
60
it, but
years.
if you
Well, I've
you
been
can do
working
something
on
called a prop
belated
boost
birthday
by
present for you. Well,
picking up
more of a belated birthday
a prop, and then if you hold
technically,
like into
it's
the
a medical
wall
experiment.
with like WA, WD, or
important is it's
something like that,
impressive.
then you can get a lot of
That jumpsuit you're wearing is
velocity
stupid.
upwards.
Yeah,
That's
you
not
kind
me
of just get
talking. It's
stuck
right here in your
and you build a
file.
bit of
On other
velocity and
people,
it
looks
works
fine.
that way.
But
To be
right
honest, I
here
don't
as
even really know how it
science
works too well,
business,
but
on you, it looks stupid.
it saves time. It saves like 30
Well,
seconds.
Here's an
Doesn't
example
that
of the
weird old
invincibility
engineer
being
know about
really
fashion?
just
He
really
probably-
nice.
Oh, yeah, we
I'm
just
going
get
to
up in the
list of
face of
test
those
subjects
turrets.
in
Yeah, that
storage.
that route is
I
really
managed to
not
find two with
possible
your last name.
if you don't have
A man and a woman.
That's Rider.
So that's interesting. It's a
And
small
it's
world.
also handy in this next map. It's kind of cool. There's just like a few maps in a row where it comes in handy, but
Surprise waiting for
we
you
can once
after
again
this
kind of
next
just
test.
ignore these turrets like
Telling
they
you it's
don't even
spoiled the
exist. Like
surprise.
you'll see, I'll just jump
So
right in
I'll
front
just
of
give you a
them
hint.
to grab this cube.
It involves me
Yeah.
two people you haven't seen in a long
The
time.
programming's probably ultra confused.
Yeah, like what the heck?
How are they still jumping? Yeah, we collect superpowers throughout this run. You'll see more in the future.
Yeah, this is the first ability that we unlocked, but we unlock more abilities later in the run.
It says this next test
This
was
map,
designed
we
by
got
one
pull
of
the rug.
Aperture's Nobel Prize winners.
It's
It doesn't
there's not
say
really
what the
any
prize was for. Well, I know
specific,
it wasn't
like,
for being
super
immune
cool
to
tech. It's just done
neurotoxin.
really fast, which is nice.
You know, it's kind of calm before the storm because the next
Yeah.
map in this run is
I
perhaps
didn't.
the most
In fact, we're
infamous.
headed to your surprise right now. After all these years.
And that's
I'm getting
because
choked up just
your
thinking
run
about
is
it.
dictated by luck. Just
Oh,
Game Runner's
no.
worst nightmare.
It's yeah. This is the run graveyard.
Initiating
Usually.
surprise.
Well,
in
appropriate
3,
chapter name.
2.
Oh yeah, very evil
Surprise.
surprise. Yeah.
I made it all up. Surprise.
In just a moment, those doors open.
Oh, come on.
She's
if it makes you
gonna
feel any better,
hop into the room.
So I very seriously
She's gonna shoot
doubt
into
anyone
the
wants to see
observatory
you.
room because there's a really small gap, and it's kind of annoying. It's a pretty bad
Yeah.
shot.
Feels like it's a bit different every
That
time.
turret's trying its hardest. Yeah. Here. Okay, we just got the new power of teleportation. These are two pretty big tricks back to back, so I'll just let this play out.
And I get a first
Wow.
trial. I mean, the freaking luck.
That elevator clip is the lucky part.
Well, you know
That
your
can just,
formula.
you can do everything
Comedy
perfect
equals tragedy
and it'll just not
equals
work
time. And
because
have been
you did it on the
asleep for a
wrong
while.
cycle in
So
the
I
game
guess
or
it's
something like
actually
that.
pretty funny.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
this-
unfortunate.
When you're doing it in a run, there's like literally no way to tell like if you're gonna get it, if you're doing it at like the right time. Like it's pretty much RJ. What am I doing here?
What was the upside of nailing it? Like we descended through that elevator shaft
Yeah.
extra quick?
Yeah, so normally when you go into that elevator, Wheatley talks to you
I thought
for
about our dilemma,
like
and
40
I came up with a
no,
solution
more
I
30
honestly think
seconds.
works out best for
So
one of
skipping
both of us.
that entire elevator shaft is just really nice. You might be wondering why we don't do that in every elevator shaft. It just doesn't save time. I think the game still listens to dialogue.
Is looking pretty
Yeah, I think
good.
it's actually dependent
That's
on the
right.
elevator
I think these
instead
test
of the
chambers look
player
even
Yeah.
better than they did
position-wise.
before. It was easy, really. You just have to look at
So
things
that's
objectively,
I think the
see
only
what you don't
time
need
it actually
anymore,
saves anything.
and trim out the fat.
Yeah, because again, they just knew. It's
Right,
very
there we saw
convenient.
another
Surprise for
laser
you after
switch
this
glitch.
next test. Not a fake, tragic surprise like last time.
You might be wondering about what
A
happened
real
before that
surprise
elevator clip
with tragic consequences.
where he
What's
shot
going
into the
on?
observatory
Turned
room.
off the lights.
By portaling in a certain way there, the game thinks sees that you're stuck, and so it wants to teleport you to like the nearest area where you won't be stuck. And so that just happens to be like the end of the map, you know? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
that just lines up.
we're just directly above like the chamber exit.
Yeah. These next levels are gonna focus a lot on movement. So if you remember the 300 velocity sort of airlock, then you'll see that at full force here when he turns. Like typically if you watch any other Source game, like for example Half-Life 1, you see crazy turns, crazy speed, you know. It's not really like that in this game. There's still crazy speed, but those turns limit how you manage that speed.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Matt was saying, this next map is basically purely movements. And while it's not like, you know, in Portal 1, you can jump backwards and go light speed. It's not like that in this game. And to be honest, in maps like this, it doesn't even really help. I mean, Portal 2 feels a lot more... The map design is like more linear. You don't really have a lot of space to just like jump around like that.
Yeah. What you're seeing now is something called flashlight skip. Normally, if you walk outside that room onto the catwalk, Wheatley talks to you about how dark the place is. Yeah, you can hear it in the background. All the lights turn off, and you have to watch a cutscene where Wheatley turns on his flashlight for this whole dark area. But you can skip that by jumping onto his like railing or his railing.
Management rail, as they call it.
But yeah, we ignore his flashlight. Right now, okay, the game normally is not this bright. This is a command that's allowed to use because some people have monitor issues, and it just wouldn't look good for anyone watching on mobile right now.
Yeah, it would be like almost completely like pitch black. You would not be able to see anything.
Next up, we got turret sabotage. This game has a lot more movement. He's gonna go for a conveyor skip, which saves a fair amount of time here.
That's not it.
It's a fairly hard jump. There you go. Nice.
Thank you.
Saves what, like 4 seconds probably.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah, right there you can skip that entire room where you have to portal in front of the turret. There's a little gap if you get high enough. Okay, here normally you're thinking, why isn't he getting the turret? He needs the turret to progress here.
Thank you very much.
If we set up a really precise shot, there's actually a really small gap in the model of this door. And if you remember back in Secret Panel, before the wrong warp skip called Toast, you notice that he shot through the door and he kept his portal gun to the end of the level. That's what this just was, basically. He shot through the model of the door, and he just skips this whole cutscene of having to get the turret with you and really talking for a long time.
Embarrassing. I mean, I realize that
as usual, it's just skipping like a lot of dialogue and just waiting around.
Don't worry, I'm absolutely guaranteeing you 100% that it's this way. Okay, let's try
this next level is probably the most recent, like actual difficult strat. What Shiz is gonna try to go for is implosion skip, where the normal thing to do is you portal, you hit a button to activate a laser, then you use that laser to cut all the pipes on this neurotoxin generator. Instead, we're gonna use...
I might be too slow to get it now.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's unfortunate. Shiz is probably gonna cut the pipes with the laser.
Let's see what...
I won't leave you out on what actually happens though for implosion skip. If Shiz looks at the chair behind him,
I'll look.
it's actually one of the few chairs, yeah, you can pick up in the whole game. And we can use this to climb above the elevator that Shiz came up through, and you can actually jump through the portal where the laser's shining through. It's kind of tricky because props are annoying in this game sometimes.
It's probably debatably second or first hardest trick in the run, and it's very recent and it saves like 7 seconds. Which,
yeah, it's done really well, like 7, maybe like 6, around there.
Yeah. And you're usually not gonna hit it first try to begin with, but that's kind of the point that Portal 2 is getting. You know, all of these strats that were initially considered like IL only are now being incorporated into the full run because there's just like, we're really starving for time save at top level. It's like getting really crazy.
It's getting pretty brutal. You might be wondering why Shiz didn't go for implosion though. The way that level in the game is the only level where you can shoot on moving portal surfaces. And so because of that, essentially to do implosion, you're on a cycle. Because you have to shoot it, and by the time you have to shoot your portal on the moving panel, and by the time like that panel gets to the end of the conveyor belt, you have to get through that portal, and so it can be really brutal if your first half of the chamber is like pretty slow.
Yeah, so my movement was just it was pretty unacceptable. That might be my worst movement in about a year in that map, so I was just too slow, and it stinks because I wanted to show it off, but it is what it is. Go watch Madden's run.
Watch Burgers run.
Yeah, we're Burger 40, the current world record over in the game.
Yeah, right now we're in core. We've been quote unquote captured by GLaDOS. We kind of sabotaged. we only sabotaged the neurotoxin. Kind of skipped the turrets though, but we'll be okay. We gotta get some.
I mean, even if GLaDOS tried, she could not kill us because we're in God mode. So there's nothing she can do.
Superman.
Truly the ultimate punishment for the likes of GLaDOS, to meet a protagonist that is well and fully invincible.
Are you ready to start your procedure?
Unfortunate.
Corrupted core.
Here Shiz is just gonna line up to shoot this portal as early as possible because we have to hit a button as early as
Stalemate
possible.
detected. Transfer procedure.
And you can actually start shooting this while
Unless a
the
stalemate associate is
panel is
present, press
moving.
the stalemate resolution button.
Pull me out! Leave me in! Leave me in!
like that.
Not so fast.
It looked like he shot through the wall,
Stalemate resolved.
but he got it.
Wait, what if this hurts? What if this really
That's
And-
another superpower, shooting through walls.
Oh, it
Yes. Yeah, that's like what, our fourth superpower? We have more still. Don't worry.
You're just saying that.
Is
aren't
there-
you? You're just
Yeah, there's one pretty big one later on coming up.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. That's gonna be great to get to. But actually, something very important to note here. This is like, I think, besides the very start of the game, like the longest cutscene in the game. And there is. We're about to do the trick that saves the most time in the entire room. And ironically, it's very easy. It's just a single jump on top of this lift that's gonna pop out in a little bit, and it saves. Is it like 2 minutes?
Probably, yeah. That sounds.
It's something ridiculous.
That's kinda
So here it goes. It's gonna say ding dong.
There we go.
And I jump on the ding dong, and
I didn't know that was your time cue. That's
yeah, you can listen to the ding dong. And then you jump.
pretty good. I just feel that.
Did you use like a visual alignment or something?
Yeah, it's just random every time.
Dang, that's probably haven't missed
I don't even know what I
it.
just said. So I can find out.
Dang.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fairly simple to do. You can probably load up the game right now and try it.
Get over how small you are.
Oh wait, can I hit this? Hold on, please. No, dude.
Oh,
Okay. That's like,
ideally you want to go in there without hitting anything, but kind of hard.
yeah, and it's harder than it looks because there's like a bunch of invisible like walls that you have to dodge on the way
Yeah.
down. So that's like a bogey. Ideally, you get the hole in one where you just fall in one go, but had to use the putter on the green to get in. So
This is a cutscene map, but potatoes ran into you, so you might actually lose time. This is the
Yeah,
only
it's possible
cutscene
to
in the
lose.
game, like you can lose time on. It's just literally a cutscene
dumb.
map. Like you can't move around or anything, but because of the potato glass is a potato, it can do some weird things with the wood at the bottom of this elevator shaft.
yeah, it's a game that runs on the Source engine, so there's just really, really janky things like that that can just randomly happen, and that's why we love Source.
Normally we skip this using a plugin. We just add the time to our timer, but we don't sit through this cutscene.
Yeah, and that's mainly for like viewing experience.
Yeah.
And I guess also your own sanity because like yeah, this is like a minute and a half cutscene almost.
Yeah, I'll
and-
see if you lost time.
Yeah, let's see. Did we? Did I?
No, you
I think
didn't.
that's about the same.
You got it. No, you're good. You're good. No
Nice,
time
let's go,
lost in
dude.
the cutscene.
I could have lost a few frames there.
Wiping the sweat off my brow. It only loses like less than a second. It's nothing insane.
Yeah,
By
it's
the
like
way.
crazy small.
I think the worst I got was like a second of time loss,
That's crazy.
which is that's like ultra unlucky mode. This level is a lot of movement and precise shots. Like this one, for example. Normally you just walk down that really long hallway, but you can actually shoot through to a portal surface. It's pretty far.
Whoa, spark.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hit those two buttons. Wait for that vault door to open. You can actually stand up here. Ooh.
Yeah, and you're actually supposed to like go through these like doors that open on the bottom, but you can actually just like jump on the side of this vault door and like move past the invisible wall that's there, and that actually saves
Yeah.
like 2 seconds. So
Are you gonna jump in the?
the goop
The
spot.
mud.
I don't know if I can
Yeah.
find it.
It's at the bottom.
I actually don't know where
It's
it's
okay.
staying. Sorry,
Dang,
Ben.
really? That's okay.
I've not learned.
Here we've got Cave Johnson, but the sad thing is we actually don't hear him at all because of the route. So here we're gonna do something called cliff shot. It's just a really hard, or actually maybe not really hard, but it's a pretty precise shot on that cliff. It allows us to do a portal stand to get to the top of the elevator shaft, and we do something called a scripted momentum boost. Okay. Normally you have to raise the elevator to go all the way up which reveals a portal surface at the bottom of the shaft, and then you just use that. But there's a trigger there that's supposed to give you a set amount of speed that we abuse.
And it's that stacked on top of a reportal, which boosts your speed even further. And that's why I was able to fling all the way over to like a slanted pipe and then just jump to the end of the chamber. Pretty cool, right?
What you just saw Shiz do was something called a view snap. It's a view snap combined with a seam shot. It's a 2-for-1 combo trick, where by setting your sensitivity to a very specific number, and this is like insanely specific, the way, like the spots you look at essentially jump from place to place in set intervals. So this helps us to do really precise shots, like very consistently. And a seam shot is essentially, it's like it's
kind of just extreme tiny gap in the map geometry. They just have holes in them, and you can actually shoot through them.
Yeah, like even though you can't see it, there's probably a hole in the wall somewhere.
Here, there's another super reportal.
Yeah, we saw one back in chapter 2 in Pit Flings, the super reportal. But in this map, we combine that getting stuck with gel, and that lets us build a bunch of speed horizontally and vertically, and that just lets us clear the gap.
Yep, and then coming up is another seam shot. This actually saves a very significant amount of time.
Yeah, this is a very obvious looking view snap. You'll see it right here. Boom. Oh. Wow, you still got that.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. That's a pretty precise shot to do without the view snap, so it's nice to have.
And I guess to be more specific, like that route doesn't actually save that much time over the old route. The thing was, the old route was incredibly different. And it was also a lot cooler. The seam shot kind of killed the map, I'm not gonna lie. But
yeah,
in terms of like playing experience, a lot more runs get past Crazy Box, which is the name of that map. So
yeah.
Congratulations. The simple fact that you're standing
here we've got Potatoes. This is the map where you're supposed to get GLaDOS or Potatoes now. We'll hit these 2 levers, wait for the door to open. But the thing is, we're not going in there. we skip picking up Potatoes. Normally when you pick her up, there's a button under the bird's nest that you have to press, which lowers an elevator, and you use that to get to the elevator. But instead, we just combine a reportal with just a nice fling to get over the giant sign blocking us.
Yep.
There's another very blatant view snap. That shot that Shiz did might seem like a seam shot, but you can actually see it. It might be hard, like on mobile or if the screen is small, but you can see it.
Yeah, so that used to not actually be view snapped. That one's more so just for consistency, but you could actually pretty easily hit that, even on like, okay, maybe not like on a controller, but it's like, it's not that hard. If you know where you're looking, you can just skip like 3/4 of the chamber.
Here we're gonna try to do another super reportal. a lot of chapter 7 maps are super reportals. It's just convenient. It just works. We didn't get quite enough speed there. Gonna have to line up again.
Yeah, you need 8 shots there, and you're only stuck for a very small amount of time. And the thing is, like, you would think that if you just like spam clicked the portal gun, you could get out a bunch of shots at once, but there's actually a cooldown. So
yeah, it's like it can eat inputs basically if you shoot too fast. So you don't want to do that. You have to time each shot. Unless you bind like scroll wheel or something.
Exactly. Like you need to click in a very consistent rhythm, and if you're off on one shot, you can't miss more than like one shot there, or else you pretty much have to reload.
So, yeah. Here is probably the most flashy trick, or one of the most flashy tricks in the game. Here, We set up really specific portals. See, this portal right there, that blue one, is partially in the wall, and we use this to get stuck here. And by getting stuck, we get a super re-portal, we release, we ramp, and we skip an entire chunk of this entire level.
Yeah, that
saves like what, a minute or something?
Yeah, probably like
45 seconds maybe
or so. And that's also the death of many runs. I think, like, I'm not sure if it's just straight up luck, but it's so precise it may as well be like human RNG.
It's pretty frustrating, yeah. But that unfortunately skips people's favorite line in the game, the lemon.
Yeah, the lemon rant. You don't get to hear it.
Hence the name lemonade skip. Or lemon skip. There's an older variation, but this is the current one we use. Here we do something called a stuck launch. By getting stuck between, I think it was a prop and like a solid object, or not a prop. I'm blanking on the name, but it's
just
very
like two
specific
rushes,
things.
you know? Yeah.
It's two very specific things. If you get stuck in there, you gain a lot of downward speed. And we abuse that speed along with the blue gel found later in the level. But we can access that gel by using good strafe. Helps us get up there sooner. And so by getting a stuck launch, using that speed, bouncing up, we're able to shoot a portal up here. And while I was yapping, he set up another super re-portal to help us get to the end of the level.
And like, actually, that super re-portal is actually a godsend, because
that's probably the most consistent one.
Yeah, it's a consistent one, but it also skips an insane amount of waiting. GLaDOS just talks and talks and talks. It's like a huge monologue, and you're just waiting for like a really, really slow lift to come down towards you, and then it has to go all the way back up.
Yeah.
So it legit saves like another minute.
It's like not only you see this massive door opening in front of you for a really long time.
Yeah.
It's a really slow elevator as well, but we're too
So
cool
now,
for that.
yeah, so now we're in chapter 8, which is defined by one massive glitch. We gain the final ability.
our final superpower. We'll see in the next level, actually.
Yeah, the next level.
Actually, here, putting the cube on this button actually starts a really long cutscene. You lose like, I think like a minute 30.
Yeah,
something like that. But if you're pressing against the door before the cube activates the button, you can go right through. So we just throw the cube.
But I'll tell you, when I do
It's that simple.
Oh, man alive. Nothing feels better. It's just, that's what I've got to test. That's what I've got to test.
All right.
So,
right now,
gonna test, and I'm going to watch.
We're going up the slow elevator. There's actually a way to skip this elevator, but it's just pure luck, basically. And it's,
unfortunately,
you have to be ultra lucky to get it too.
Oh, here's an idea.
It's like you get stuck in the door in a certain way while the elevator's rising. It's supposed to give you a bunch of speed.
Watch you solve it. Yeah,
what is this movement?
Nothing.
Alright, we're good.
Here it's...
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna be quiet here. There's a dialogue.
New tests. Gotta be some tests around here somewhere.
Yeah, so that one saves like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's not huge, but it's nice to have. Okay, and this next one.
Yeah, here we go. We are
Bane, chapter 8.
Yep. It's the most broken glitch in the game, I would say. I don't really think there's any contention. And it was found day 1 of the game's release, never patched. We gain the ability to fly at will.
Yeah, he's floating. It's a pretty weird kind of fly. The thing is, you notice Shiz wasn't bunny hopping there. If he jumps right now, he'll go up forever. And if there's no like ramp on the ceiling or something like that, he can never go down. So
yeah,
once you go up,
you say forever, does that mean like through save loads or?
Yeah, made this test myself.
If you jump and then you save and you load it, yeah, you will still go up.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so you have to make your saves. You have to be careful. The way it actually works is your character has like a state if they're in the funnel or not. So 1 for being in the funnel, 0 for not being in the funnel. If you go into a funnel with 0 velocity, or like, so you're standing in the funnel and you're not moving at all. If you crouch, that counter becomes set to 2. So that way when you uncrouch and you exit the portal, the game still thinks you're in the funnel. So you gotta be careful.
Yeah. And what's interesting about the glitch is that its state kind of changes after you move through maps. Normally, after you get the glitch, crouching will cancel it, but it's actually not the case after you go through a map transition.
Oh, disappointed.
Can I get this, please? There we go.
There you go. So yeah, if you get it, it's a lot of weird rules where if you get crouch fly in the level, like, and you keep it in the level you're in, if you shoot a portal where you got crouch fly through, you lose it. If you go through a funnel again, you'll lose it, like that. Like when it's preserved. You can actually get crouch fly while holding crouch, so that way if you leave while crouched, when you uncrouch, you'll lose it. It's a lot of weird stuff.
This drive, you can just shoot there?
Yeah, that's called Great Shot. It's just a weird property with that surface. You can do it in co-op as well in some maps.
My body has a built-in euphoric response to testing. Eventually, you build up a resistance to it.
It's a dialogue.
Hey friends, I know we're getting close to the end of the run, but when would be a good time for a couple of announcements?
You can do it right now. Actually, now's a good time.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, so first I would like to say that we have a new incentive open. It is a Tears of the Kingdom glitch exhibition available at $3,650, showing off what would happen if we stayed super powered like Link is at the beginning of the game, just throughout all of the game. Just get off to Great Sky Island without having to do the prologue.
Sounds pretty cool.
And second, I wanted to thank a very generous donor earlier for a relevant donation during our portal runs. Zachary earlier sent in $100 with a comment, "When the alias is nonsensical."
Pretty sure I know who that is.
Only real ones get that.
I'm going to tape you solving these.
That's awesome.
And then watch 10
Nice.
at once. Get a more sort of concentrated burst of
Thank you,
science.
Zach.
Oh, on a related note, I am going to need you to solve
Here
these
Shiz
10 times
is going to
as
get fly.
Anyway, just give me a wave, would you, before
He's
you solve
actually-
this one, alright? I don't want to spoil the ending for when I watch it later.
Okay. Okay, I wanted to be careful because this map has a pretty decent dialogue skip. Didn't seem like you went for it though, which is okay.
Yeah, if you're actually really unlucky, you could cut off the dialogue and you have to wait through the whole elevator. Remember the failsafe I mentioned earlier? Yeah, you lose like 20 seconds just waiting for dialogue.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Already fixed. Programmed in one last tremor. From
Here we're gonna
two. I put
angle the
two
cube
more
in such
tremors
a
in
way
there. Just-
to
alright, still nothing. Let's
position
keep
that
moving. Sorry,
laser
it's
to
out of circuit because it melted.
hit that receptacle above the door. It'll go up at kind of an angle. Here normally you're supposed to touch this funnel at the start, and then Wheatley does a bunch of things and cuts the power to the funnel, but we just skip all of that.
Ah, you're alive! Great! Yeah, just getting a
Alright.
test ready for
Here,
you.
we get crouch fly again.
No. So,
But the thing is about this level is that it's on like a, I guess a timer, I'll call it. Because at the end of the level, you see Peabody, one of the co-op bots. Look at him.
There he is.
Peabody. If you don't look at Peabody from the start of the level, you cannot go through that door, basically. So you'll be stuck there.
You just self-run there.
So yeah, if you end up going too fast on accident, it's kind of rough.
A big surprise for you two. Seriously, look forward to it.
At this point, we're actually very close to the end of the run. We have 5 more maps. In the next map, we execute our final fly glitch of the run, and that allows us to basically bypass the majority of Chapter 9.
Chapter 9 will look like nothing.
We're just going to fly over and
Acquired every superpower.
Only
We're
3 more
finally ready
chambers
to
your big
face Wheatley.
surprise.
Their superpowers.
Oh, that's tiring.
Okay, right there can be kind of scary because if you go to that platform like right as the dialogue ends or something like that, the dialogue becomes conflicted and you'll have to wait through the elevator without any dialogue all the way through.
Dying to know what your big
And
surprise
I've had
is.
that happen multiple
Only
times
2
on
more
pace,
changes.
and it really stinks. Like,
Here, this is another
Not
thing
fun.
that's just convenient for some reason. That part of the wall just stops you at the perfect height to go through that wall. Normally when you go, you have to go on a catapult. And then Wheatley tricks you, you know, you go to the side, the wall's open. And since the wall's open, they're not solid, so you can just fly right through it. So now it's just, the game's turned into a racing game right now. We wall strafe against the wall to build a bunch of speed, get to the end as fast as possible.
and
See,
we
that's
deflect
where you're supposed to
ourselves
land.
down by hitting this. Uh-oh, lag. I blame the lag.
Uh-oh.
That was crazy. All right,
Yeah,
now
normally you sit through a really long funnel ride, and then Wheatley talks. It's
If you come back.
we don't have time for that. Come on. So yeah, by ramping off specific parts of this level geometry, we
I've got an idea.
fly to the end.
Yes, in your face.
Yep.
I got...
And once again, I mean, even if Wheatley wanted to try and kill us, he can't with all these pressures and stuff. Because, I mean, that's like the whole point of the chapter. It's the part where he kills you. Like,
Don't mind me.
yeah, we kind of just say no to that.
Yeah. We've prepared for this round. We have all the tools necessary. We're gonna ramp off this staircase, help us go down. This part can be really weird if you're going too fast and end up going too far down.
We're gonna beat this falling pipe on the left.
We won the race.
And then these turrets are gonna try their best, but again, they can't do anything. There's like 12 of them there,
Yeah.
and they're just useless.
That would be amazing if it killed
You can still make that if you're fast enough. It's just scary.
Yeah, that spreader is actually convenient besides the time it saves. Like, it just makes the run easier.
It is. It's very, very nice to have. Yeah, this is like, see, look at those, look at the height of that portal surface. Like, how coincidental.
Crazy.
It just lines up, you know?
They're trying to tell us
just-
something.
Here's a race to the finish. We lose Fly here. Unless you're Tass, there's we're gonna lose Fly here. Tess actually saves it for this level to do crazy skip.
Yeah, which actually skips the final boss.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's the final fight. It's pretty straightforward. There's a couple things we do to speed it up. The way the fight works is that it's actually very similar to they kind of copy and pasted the fight from Portal 1, I'm not gonna lie. Wheatley just throws bombs at you, and what you have to do is redirect the bombs at him. He gets stunned, you attach a core, and then you rinse and repeat 2 more times and the fight's over. The main thing we do is Wheatley actually throws multiple rounds of bombs every hit, so you can preserve the bombs through your portals into the next phase and hit him as soon as possible. But you do have to be careful when you hit him, because if you hit him during a specific part of his like wake up animation when he gets unstunned, it actually duplicates the boss, and it gets very ugly.
Yeah. We call it bad ending because he just constantly shoots bombs at you. So even when he finished the game, he still shoots bombs at you. You can die in the final cutscene, I think.
It's pretty
I could
funny.
be wrong about that.
Yeah, not with the invincibility, of course, but
Well,
it used to be
yeah.
that. So we line up in a very specific way here, just to consistently get the bombs to juggle.
Yeah, let's just have enough room to actually make sure the bombs don't collide in the air or something like that. Because if you shoot the portals too close, it can just blow up the bombs. It's not ideal.
Yeah. And
Also, if you
the
notice-
actual... Oh, go ahead, man.
I was gonna say, if you notice in Portal 1, we get rid of all the cores, but now we're attaching it to him in Portal 2.
Oh, okay.
This
I guess
might
that's
be
just
bad
a
ending.
bad ending, right? Okay, it is. So you get to see it in action. Yay!
Mission.
Quick, what's the situation?
He might let me have it easy though.
No,
dude.
you got the win. Okay. Sometimes Wheatley takes a while to turn around there, and you can sneak the bomb on there. This is brutal now.
Hey, countdown.
See the panels. Normally the panels are not in the way like this. You have to fight for your life to get this.
I don't want to scare you. I'm an adventure.
Oh my goodness. I'm stuck
Why don't you go
again.
ahead and have yourself a
You see why it's called
Take it from me.
bad ending.
Okay, stand behind. Yeah, just like that. Just like you're doing.
There you go.
Things are about to get real.
I say you portal somewhere.
Record yourself, huh?
Okay, wait. This is it. This is it.
He's God, yeah, if you found the window.
At 75%.
Holy smokes.
Reactor explosion timer destroyed. Reactor explosion uncertainty emergency preemption
That
protocol
stinks.
initiated. This facility will
You got it.
self-destruct in 2 minutes.
Enough! I told you not to put these cores on, but you don't listen, do you?
Kind of missed it, isn't it? Oh my god, please.
Oh my gosh. Nice.
Is he gonna let me do this?
Yeah, I think the last one's just fine. It's just those first two that are annoying. Yeah, you got it.
Core corruption at 100%.
He'll still shoot bombs at
He's still gonna keep
you.
going.
Shoot until the end of time. You can hear it in the final cutscene when Gladys is talking to you as well.
Are you ready to start? Corrupted core. Are you ready to start?
So now we're reaching the end. We're gonna prepare for one final trick called early moonshot. And there's a very brief window where once you enter the stalemate room, the moon will be available to shoot before the cutscene starts. Because normally the button gets blown up, you have to watch this 15-second cutscene. But we can skip this with a really precise shot. So if you can get it, that'd be huge.
And there we go.
Yeah.
The end of the game.
Jeez.
Interesting way to end it, but
Yeah, look at the bombs.
you can see there's two of them there.
Space!
Awesome. Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed Portal 2.
Yeah, I mean,
Tried our hardest
We're in space!
to explain
yeah,
things.
Matt, you did a great job explaining everything. I mean, there's so much technical stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up.
Fix this!
But I mean, I would say the run went pretty well, and I mean, I just want to thank everybody for letting me run at this event, you know, especially for such a great cause. And thank you so much for having me and Madden today. It was great.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I enjoyed it. Congrats on the run.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much to the both of you for being here and showcasing this really fantastic run of an amazing game. Anything else you wanted to say?
You can still hear the bombs.
You can still hear the bombs. That's a good. I would say, like, you know, if at all you're interested in running the game, I would say, despite it being an hour long, that might seem daunting, but thankfully Portal 2, it's a game where it's very easy to practice individual maps. There's plenty of resources to learn the game, and I guess even if Portal 2 seems like a bit much, Portal 1, which was run just before this, is a very, very easy game to get into. So I love the runs of both Portal games. They both have their own respective jank and cool tricks and stuff. So just wanted to let you know, very easy to pick it up. Welcoming communities. And yeah, that's about it.
Tested. Nobody murdered me or put me in a potato
Awesome.
or fed me to birds.
Thank you so much again to both
I
of
had
you.
a pretty good life.
Thank you for having us.
It was fun. Thank you.
Well, friends, that's going to mark the end of our science and sorcery block here at Running Through Wonderland, but we still have one more amazing run for you this evening. We are getting that ready for you in just a little bit. But in the meantime, I'm going to transition myself out of things for the evening, because that is the end of my time on the host microphone. And I think you heard it there. If you heard that come through, we have one of my tremendous friends hosting, who's going to be taking over, doing a bit of a baton pass over to them. The ineffable, fantastic Joker will be your guide through the land of Hyrule.
Thank you so much, T-Tree, and I do apologize. I completely forgot to disable that before we got going, but hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome back. Thank you so much, T-Tree, for that, and for those last couple of runs. But as they said, my name is Joker, and I will be your guide through Hyrule here for the end of the evening. Our next run will be The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, all dungeons run by Cloud. Again, you are here for running through Wonderland. We're here to help raise money to help with the cost of Alice's gender-affirming surgery in February of 2025. Cost of surgery can be very high when you factor in things like hospital stay, travel, and life accommodations one would need while healing from a big procedure. If you'd like to help out, please type donate, !donate in the chat, just like that. And you can donate towards Alice to help her with her surgeries. And we do have a very, very big incentive coming up here for the end of the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom run. It is a glitch exhibition or a donation milestone. What that means is if we can hit $3,650 in total before the end of the run, Cloud will show off a newly discovered glitch in Tears of the Kingdom that lets us go through the starting Sky Island as Link without Ganondorf resetting him to level 1. This means that Link will have all 30 hearts, all 3 stamina wheels, full armor, and unbreakable sword. We get to see what that looks like if we can hit that incentive. We are just under $350 away, just about $350 away from that. So we really want to make sure we can get to it because you're going to want to see the incentive. And we do have an open bid war to help us out with that. So tomorrow afternoon, our 4 Peggle Fevers runners will do a world debut of a 4-way race of Peggle Fevers, and we are doing a file name bid war. A max of 11 characters with no special characters there, but it will be the 4 players will be using those. So if you wish to get a name in for that file name bid war, you can donate right now. Get us to that $3,650 milestone. You're hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. I don't know if you can get much better than that when it comes to open donations and donation incentives. That is a fantastic Let me tell you a little bit more about Alice, our friend. Alice is a variety of speedrunner with a love for platformers and horror games and is studying psychology and neuroscience. She has 2 dogs and a gecko. She loves cooking, painting, anime, and art. She came out to her friends at 17 and to her family at 19 and is currently double majoring in psychology and neuroscience. She wants to be a psychiatrist to help young adults specialize in queer issues and mood disorders. Alice's surgery has been canceled twice to insurance issues, and she's been waiting for the surgery for 4 years since her first consultation. So every moment and every dollar counts to help get her there. We really want to help her out and make sure that she can get there. So please make sure that you're donating again and again. You can put your donations to that Peggle Fevers bid war. And again, you're hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. You'll help us get to that milestone, and you'll help decide the file name for the bid war. We're going to take ourselves just a little bit of a break, a breather as we get ourselves ready. We're just about ready to get everything set up for Tears of the Kingdom. It looks like we're waiting on just a couple of things here on the back end, but we're just about ready for it. So we're going to take just a slight breather. Chat, this is going to be a longer run here to close out night number 2. So get yourself some snackies, get yourself some water, get yourself some drinks, and get yourself ready for this fantastic Tears of the Kingdom all dungeons run by Cloud. take just a few moments here, catch our breaths, and when we come back, we should be ready to go, and we'll go see exactly how Tears of the Kingdom unrolls. Hello and welcome back to Running Through Wonderland, benefiting our friend Alice as a mutual aid for her gender-affirming surgery. I am your host for this next upcoming run. My name is Joe